When I was a little girl, I'd spend hours just dreaming that someday I would go to strange, faraway places.
Miss Amelia Earhart. Why do you want to fly?
I want to be free.
1928, Amelia Earhart received a phone call from Captain Hilton H. Rayleigh to become the first woman passenger to cross the Atlantic Ocean in a plane. The idea of just going as extra weight did not appeal to me at all, she said, but she accepted the offer, and on June 17th, she flew in a plane named Friendship with co-pilots Wilmer Bill Stoltz and Lewis Slim Gordon. The plane landed at Bury Port, South Wales, with just a small amount of fuel left. Film, there are scenes where Slim and Amelia almost fall out of the plane door, but this didn't actually occur. Captain Stoltz said about the flight that it wasn't a pleasant experience. Although everything went perfectly, I had to steer solely by the instruments, and luckily none of them went wrong. We flew at a fair height, but flew blind. George P. Putnam was a wealthy New York socialite and publisher. He saw Earhart's first flight as a best-selling story with her as the star. Thus began their personal and professional relationship. Though Amelia was reluctant to be tied down, they eventually got married. But in the film, they cut out Putnam's first wife, Dorothy, who he was married to when he first met Earhart. George Putnam tells Earhart how she's going to be endorsing Lucky Strike's cigarettes despite the fact that she doesn't smoke, so that Slim and Bill could get paid for their trip across the Atlantic. Nowhere in the film does the audience learn how shocking it was for a woman to do so in the 1920s. Women smoking in public was still frowned upon, and she even lost a job as McCall's aviation editor because of it.
Says that Lucky Strikes were the only cigarettes aboard the Friendship. Which is true. I hid them under the seat.
True. Maybe, but misleading. Why would I say that?
Lucky Strikes was only one of the many products she had to endorse. Putnam started to heavily promote her through her book and lecture tours. Amelia was a bit embarrassed by all the publicity work since it had nothing to do with flying, so she decided to become the first female pilot to fly solo across the Atlantic. In 1929, at the big woman all-state aviation race, Amelia comes in third, but it is never explained that it is because she stopped to help a fellow pilot who had serious problems. In the movie, Amelia is seen recording clips of her trip herself in 1928, but until the 1950s, film was really only for recording television programs. The first videotape recorder didn't come out until 1951. Especially living in the time of the Great Depression, it was unrealistic for her to have.
It seems rather silly considering what's happening out there. And those men, all those families. Why have I been given so much?
You've earned the spotlight. Enjoy it. You'll be fine. Just hold on to yourself.
I'm not sure who that is anymore.
She's that girl from Kansas who says hello.
Eugene Vidal, known as Gene, was an Olympic athlete, West Point football captain, flyer, airline executive, and largely thanks to Earhart's friendship with the Roosevelts, the director of the Bureau of Air Commerce. It is not confirmed that this scene happened, but Susan Butler, her biographer, bases her certainty of the affair on suggestions of it in the diary of Amelia's secretary and on speculations voiced by Vidal's widow, Catherine, and by Gore Vidal, the son of his first marriage. In her final flight before her death, her goal was to circumnavigate the globe. She did not succeed the first time, and the film does not include the fact that, along with Fred Noonan, Harry Manning and Mance were also on board.
If you miss this island, you're out of fuel with 2,000 miles to go.
Her second attempt, she went only with Fred Noonan. From Hawaii, she had to get to the tiny island of Howland to refuel, which from the air would be near to impossible to see. She wouldn't be able to land without the help of the Coast Guard cutter Itasca stationed off Howland Island. Amelia the film tells the story with impeccable period detail, and it deals with this flight so accurately that many of the radio transmissions between her and the Coast Guard are repeated verbatim. They could hear her, but she couldn't hear them. It was depicted as if Fred Noonan was drunk or hungover, but unfortunately we can never know for sure.
We are running north and south.
We hear you. We hear you. Are you receiving us? Earhart, this is Itasca. Did you receive transmission?